Welcome, everybody, to episode 11 of Full Court Magic. And if you watched the Orlando Magic tonight, then you saw a team that snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. The Magic were down by 4 points to the Dallas Mavericks with just 37 seconds remaining and were able to mount the win and a very, very fast comeback in the waning seconds. To take this one 115 114. This is the Magic's second win in a row. They are now seventh in the Eastern Conference at 33-28. So they're making their way out of that play-in pit that they were finding themselves in as the season begins to wind down. And just a lot of really, really crucial plays made tonight, especially down the stretch. And I'm going to talk about those things. We're going to start with the performance and impact of Tristan da Silva, who really embodied the definition of poise tonight in his performance. He was able to go 7 for 7 from the field and 4 for 4 from three. So a perfect night that resulted in 19 points. And he was able to go on a 5-0 run by himself with 2 minutes to go to continue to go back and forth with the Dallas Mavericks. When they would score and take the lead, he would just snatch it right back. And it just goes to show the level of poise that he has been forced to adopt. He's in year two, and this is a guy that was thrown into the deep end the minute he walked into the NBA and this organization, as the Magic were dealing with a slew of injuries last year. He was asked to do a lot in various roles. The same can be said this season, maybe not quite to the same extent, but nevertheless, the Magic have dealt with health issues that have hindered them, and therefore Da Silva has been called upon to help this team. And tonight, he was able to do that. And after the game, Coach Jamal Mosley talked about it. He said, "I think it's not easy to do, to go from starting to off the bench to back to starting to back off the bench." And so it says something about him as a professional. It says something about his work ethic and the coaches that work with him. Da Silva, again, still a very young player, um, and has had, his fair share of rough games, as young players often do. But he showed tonight and demonstrated what he is capable of, and what he can continue to grow into as his season progresses. Another really, really important player in tonight's game was Jalen Suggs, who had 17 points and 7 assists to go with 2 steals and a block shot. He was also integral down the stretch. I mean, when the Magic got down four, he hit an incredibly clutch three and then fired a pass down low to Wendell Carter Jr. For a quick dunk that ultimately gave Orlando the lead with just a second and a half remaining. So incredibly clutch play by him when his team needed it the most. 6 of 14 from the field, 4 of 11, not his most efficient shooting night, but he showed up when he needed to. And, he kind of talked after the game about what it means to be in this situation. He was joined by Wendell, and they both discussed, what it means. And, you know, uh, they said that one game can decide playing in the play-in or the playoff. It's important for us to take care of as many games as possible, especially going forward. And that's so true for this team, who is kind of walked the tightrope of the seeding in the Eastern Conference. And I think that, preseason expectations certainly have not panned out but this is still a team that is viable, that is still very much in this thing. And I think that that's incredibly important for, you know, what they are possibly able to do here moving forward. It's not like they're in this dire situation that they're trying to crawl out of a sub 500 hole. And certainly they have their flaws, but uh, to be able to, not just roll over in a game like this and accept a loss to a Dallas team that is talented but is struggling immensely this season. To understand the magnitude of the moment and understand that there are only so many chances left to really position themselves for the postseason speaks a lot to the growth of the group, despite those flaws. I just think it's definitely worth mentioning what they were able to accomplish, even though this is just a very small sample size, a microcosm of what they will need to do in the biggest picture. Coming up here as April will eventually roll in and with it the end of the regular season. And so big game by Jalen Suggs. I'm sorry, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, but big game by Suggs in clutch moments, just big game by his team in clutch moments to make the most of what was looking like an ugly situation because I mean the Magic they got down big and then they were able to take uh, I believe it was a 10-point lead late, and then they squandered it, and just back and forth and back and forth. I mean, it's tough when Klay Thompson was shooting like he was during his prime Splash Brothers years, 7 of 12 from three for 24 points off the bench. Uh, Cooper Flag playing aggressive, even though he didn't have a good shooting night. Uh, and even with all of the injuries to this Mavericks team, they're still going to put up a fight, and they still have enough of a veteran presence between Thompson and PJ Washington, guys like that, to really make things interesting. And they certainly did here in the Kia Center. But the Magic got punched in the mouth, and they got off the mat, and they hit back, and that's important because it shows that there is a level of belief with this team that despite a mountain of adversity in front of them, that they are able to overcome uh, you know their struggles and deficiencies and flaws to pull out a win. And sometimes those are the teams late in the season that can really make a run and really impress. And uh, we've seen it before, and there's no reason that the Magic can't tap into that. And I'm not trying to sound overly optimistic or anything. I it is my job to cover this team um, objectively, and that is what I will consistently do. That this is just what my eye test tells me. Um, and I think it's important to recognize, a gutsy win when it happens. And tonight, this squad definitely had some intestinal fortitude. But yeah, so it's a good win against the Mavericks. This uh, closes off, or concludes rather, a four-game homestand. Now the Magic will go on the road for a back-to-back against the Timberwolves and the Bucks. And the next home game will be on March 11th against the Cleveland Cavaliers, who have been playing really, really great basketball as of late, especially since acquiring James Harden following the trade deadline. And so the Magic, they're going to have to be on their best behavior, and they're really going to have to continue to play with a level of poise, but not just poise, but execution, and really make things happen down the stretch here. And March is going to be so pivotal because there's so many tough opponents on the horizon, and Orlando doesn't have the leeway still, even though it's in a slightly better spot, but the leeway is still not there. At 33 and 28 to go on any sort of losing streak or anything like that, especially when the Miami Heat, their Southeast Division rivals, are breathing down their neck in eighth place at 34 and 29. Another matchup with them coming up on the 14th in Miami. And so, a lot of tests coming up here that are going to be really, really important for this Magic club. But a good win tonight. That's a couple in a row now. It's a small sample size, but it's enough to string together some momentum, and the Magic are certainly going to need it moving forward. But as always, I appreciate you guys joining me. I will be dropping in for another episode here very soon. My goal is to get one out after the game against the Timberwolves. Same with the Bucks before returning to you from the Kia Center. Excuse me, next Wednesday. After they play the Cavaliers. Geez, don't know what happened there, but forgive me for that. Getting all choked up here. And with that, I'm going to end this episode so I can catch my breath. This has been Full Court Magic.